Truck Talk Media.
C10 Talk episode 301. LS Fab. These boys are always coming up with something funky fresh, and we, the C10 Nation, benefit from it. We've got LS Fab coming at you. 301. Here we go.
We're not going to create competition in a small niche market just because we can, right? Like I love all the companies. We work with a ton of companies now, and it's kind of been like a branch of our business was to partner with other companies that are making cool custom parts for Chevy trucks.
Damn, son. Hey guys, let me tell you about LMC Truck. Keeping generations on the road. Think about that. It's pretty deep. So whether your truck was handed down or something you went out and bought, odds are you were handed a bunch of paperwork, maybe a folder. In that folder was probably the catalog. You know the one, the most up-to-date and detailed catalog available today. It's like an encyclopedia for our trucks. Their website is just as detailed and informative. lmctruck.com. lmctruck.com. So whether you're restoring old memories or creating new ones, LMC Truck is here to help. They're more than just a parts company. They truly understand the lifestyle and passion of owning a classic truck. So get out there and get to work on your truck and know that LMC is here to help. You can get online, lmctruck.com, and order your free catalog today. Keeping generations on the road. lmctruck.com.
Let me tell you what Melbourne Post is packing right here. All right, we've got 411 posi track out back, 750 double pumper, Edelbrock intakes, scored over 30, 11-1 pop-up pistons, turbojet, 390 horsepower. We're talking some fucking muscle.
What does that do? Did that blow your mind? That just happened.
Welcome to C10 Talk, your C10 Truck podcast.
And now I have a chance to be the best, maybe the best in the world.
My old man is a television repairman. Got this ultimate set of tools. I can fix it.
I said I got 50 cents in that jukebox, and all I can hear is your mouth flapping. You hear that?
Here's your host, Ronnie Welch.
Here we go. What up, C10 Nation? Coming at you. We're going to do a double drop. I've got two pods. I wanted to do some product pods, so we're going to have LS Fab, and then we're going to have Goonie Wheels back to back. So I'll do 301 and 302. That'll get you some listening while I'm out at SEMA, and then back for the get down. So probably have episode 303 will be some coverage from SEMA, and then we'll be getting ready for the 14th annual Dino's Chevy Only Get Down just around the corner. Was over there yesterday. We did a little live thing, and a lot of people tuning in and some good questions. So there's a lot going on that week. AMD's got like a pre-party week thing from Tuesday all the way through. Usually there is an East Side party. It looks like there is not for Thursday. So Thursday, you've got the Tray 5 open house, which is always a humdinger. Tray 5 and Eye Candy are right next to one another, so they put on a great show. Vendors and everybody else, you got to be in Thursday by 7, locked and loaded. And you cannot take your vehicle out. That was one of the big kind of comments that was brought up last night and some of the different questions on the live feed. So that was good. If you didn't catch it, the biggest thing is just getting in that morning on Friday morning, get there early, 5 o'clock, and get in line. And they're just going to do the best they can to keep it flowing as fast as possible. It's such a big event now that they're going to do the best they can. You could probably tell I'm kind of fighting the cough. I have had a cough for about a few weeks here, and it's not going away fast at all. So I was coughing last night on the live. You'll hear me cough on both these interviews. It's part of it. If I listened quick and I could clean it up, I did. Otherwise, it's just being sick and coughing. So C10 Talk 10 years. We did a 10-year shirt, which is super cool. Kind of wanted to have like a concert vibe. So I went through, and anything that was double, SEMA, the Get Down, truck shows, C10 Sales 1, C10 Sales 2, Dino 1, Dino 2, guests that I've had on multiple times, things like that. I took them out. Ended up being like 231 different guests and was able to fit it all on the back of a shirt. So we will have new hats, shirts, 10-year shirt, the Hot Wheels shirt. I reprinted that one because we had that at the reunion earlier this year, but we did not have it at the Get Down. So we will have the Hot Wheels I Still Play With Trucks shirt for C10 Nation. And then we did an OBS Great Since 88 shirt. And the other thing that's really cool, come by the booth. We will have the Doja Mat stuff set up. We will have Reunion 25 stuff set up. And we are going to open registration on December 1st this year. We were waiting till January 1st, but we are going to push it up to December 1st and really hit the ground running on that, making sure everybody gets a chance, because we will sell out and we will limit it to 750. We will not change venues. We cannot fit more people in that area. We like the way that the show is. We love the way that the show is. So pre-party on March 7th, party on March 8th, and we will open registration on December 1st. Reunion 2025, the fourth year. We're kind of calling it the senior year. Another thing was Dino and Terry talked about all the raffles. So I just kind of threw it in. I checked with them today, and I said, hey, what do you think if I raffle off an interview? So come by the booth, fill out one of the raffle slips, and whoever wins, you get your own episode, C10 Talk. So that would be awesome. Idea popped in my head. Love the freshness and get to know maybe a listener, maybe a company. Who knows? Who knows who will win? Come by the booth, fill out your ticket, and they're going to draw it out. So that'll be a good thing. SEMA around the corner next week. Get Down the following week. Hopefully, we'll see. I'm not the best at getting projects done because I fill it all up with home projects and pod, but I need to get the 76K25, Big Sky 25, to Dino's. That's my goal. Been trying to be real busy about it this last few weeks, and then going to SEMA kind of throws a wrench in it, but it's all good. I think we'll get it there. Might not be quite to the level that I would want, but we'll make it happen. So, all right, without me coughing anymore, you're going to love LS Fab, Kris and not Kris and what they do. Now, we only have one Kris on the episode, but plenty of information, a lot of great products, and I think you're going to enjoy the pod. So thanks for tuning in, episode 301. Thanks for 10 years of continued support. We do appreciate it. And like I said, 302 right around the corner. Here we go. Late. What up, C10 Nation? You might understand and or recognize that my voice is not quite the same. That's because I've been under the weather for about 10 days. So if I give you a cough or two, I'll try my best to edit it out. And the hard candy cough drops that are in my mouth, I will try not to play around too much with. But stoked for another product pod. I love doing product pod because it's not necessarily that I'm looking to push anything on you. I'm looking to give you the resources that we, as the C10 Nation, as truck builders, have at our disposal, because people are building rad shit and because companies are seeing that and coming up with solutions to problems. And we're stoked because we have LS Fab today. We have half of LS Fab. There's two Krises, Kris Houser and Kris Lang. We have Kris Houser today. Kris, thanks for taking time. LS Fab up in Canada. Thanks for taking time to sit down with C10 Talk. Let's talk LS Fab, brother.
Yeah, you bet. Thanks so much for having us, Ronnie. I know we've been trying to get on and do something here for a long time, so it's nice to finally get on with you.
Yeah, we definitely got the better looking half. Probably all in all, just the better half of the two Krises. You can let Kris Lang know that I said that. Last time I saw Kris Lang, I think we were at a truck show. You guys will be coming down to Dino's here in a few weeks. I know it's a great show for you guys, and it's a commitment because you're coming from, let's just tell what it is. You're north of Calgary, south of Edmonton, and it's not, see, I knew that was going to happen. And it's not like you're that close. So, one thing I try to do with Mike Losh is let people know, hey, Mike's coming. So if you want to save some juice on the shipping, is there stuff that helps you guys know what to pack? Is it like, hey, I only have so much? I mean, I think one time you guys had like a little U-Haul trailer and your pickup truck, and that might have been the first time you guys had come down to the Get Down. Do you struggle trying to figure out what all to throw in the trailer?
Yeah, we've had tons of conversation on how to go about this. The first year, actually, we shipped a crate down. So we actually built just a small wooden crate. We shipped down our products, and we didn't have the option to bring a bunch of things down for sale. We just sold shirts and some of the smaller items at the show. That would have been back in, I think it was like 2020, 2019 maybe, the year before COVID. No, it was the year of COVID. Remember when we all had to wear masks?
Yeah, that was that first year you made those shirts. I remember you saying, "Hey, we're going to ship this out," and I remember meeting you guys in the back of the Renaissance there. You guys were getting ready, packed up, and ready to roll.
Yeah, yeah. So that was our first year, and then since then, yeah, we make the drive down, and we bring our trailer with us. And we'd love to do what Mike does and do the pre-order, and we've had this talk about how we could set orders aside and stuff. But there's so much I guess, potential for something to happen or a chance of us not making it that we don't want to take on the risk that we don't end up getting there and then we have a whole bunch of these orders. So if people do have something that they want to make sure we bring, yeah, just hit us up, send us a DM, and we'll let you know. We usually do bring quite a bit of our products in stock, and I can't say, but I don't think there's much that we've ran out of in the previous years. We stay pretty well stocked. Now, that being said, we don't bring a lot of our bead roll, sheet metal, and bigger items because we always figure people don't want to be walking around a show carrying, wheel tubs or firewalls or whatever it is. So it is mostly our smaller kind of can fit in a bag type items that we bring, and that's what we seem to sell a lot of too.
Well, and anytime I have somebody, because I'm from Montana originally, and anytime I have somebody who says bag, they don't want to carry a bag around, whereas in Arizona, we say bag. So I always have to make sure that I learned a whole new language. We got the decal, we got the process, and we got bag. So if you guys need any translation for Kris and I today, we'll help you out. But let's jump back a little bit. Think you were working on like an advanced design. Chris Lang was painting. He was the painter for Limbo, which is digital C10 SEMA truck. And how did LS Fab, how did it come about?
Yeah, so I was, Chris and I have been friends since I was 15 years old, and I had my first little S15 Jimmy, which is actually parked at his house currently in the back behind the shop. Met him, and yeah, we've been truck buddies ever since. And then when I was building a 51 Chevy, was supposed to originally be my wife's truck, and just snowballed out of control like they do for many of us. Turned into my truck, and then found out the wife was pregnant, and I outsourced the cab to Kris at the time. And I searched high and low to try and find someone to do one of these shaved, bead rolled, all smoothed out firewalls for me at the time, and nobody was making them. So the firewall in my 51 was the first product that we ever made. And after posting some images and such online, people were hitting us up asking where they could get one or if we could make them one. And so I hit up Kris and was like, you want to make some more? And at that time he was hand cutting them with a hand shear and a bandsaw. And the bead roller that he had was a hand bead roller. We didn't even, have an electric bead roller. And that first kind of week, I think we sold 12. And we're like, holy, we might be onto something here. And started developing our different products and rolled it in. We're like, we better start a company here. And everyone thinks that LS fabrication, is something to do with the LS motor, and is asking us all these questions on LS swaps all the time. And we've never done an LS swap. The LS comes from Lang's shop, which was Kris's body shop, right? That he was doing the paint and body for years there. He painted, like you said, Limbo. And so he had a pretty good following and stuff on social medias, and we just wanted to piggyback off that. So LS Fabrication was Lang's shop, the fabrication side. And so that's how we got this. And then, so it's been 6 years going on 7 in February, and it's just been a ride, man. We keep trying to push the products and come up with cool stuff. It's given us an avenue now that we can have an idea or come across something that, while we're building a truck or coming up with something that we can bring it to the masses and offer it to people. And it's, yeah, it's a lot of fun.
So it's funny when you say like 6, 7 years, like even to think like I've been doing the pod for 10,
Right.
and then when you started talking, and I'm just throwing a dart here, but I feel like after your bead roll panel, I'm just gonna again throw a dart. I felt like you came up with some sort of like cup holder, like it was one of
Yeah.
your first, after that it was like, hey, this cool cup holder and it slides in here, and then that was really hot, and then
Yeah.
boy, have things changed over the years.
So again, man, it's just funny how these things happen. I think a lot of people and a lot of builders have these moments where they just have a problem and they come up with something to solve it, and that's the end of it. And now we have the ability to be like, if this is a problem for us or we think this is cool, maybe other people will too. Throw it up on the website and see if it sticks, right? That cup holder was exactly that. We were heading to the Radium Car Show in British Columbia, and I have my 51 with no cup holder, right? I'm like, man, I need somewhere to put my drink for when we drive out here. And Kris just whips up this like bracket with two circles he cut in it, and we slid in some like poker table style cup holders. And yeah, we have it. I used it on the way to the show and wasn't even thinking that. And people are looking in my truck. They're like, "Hey, where'd you get that? That is awesome." And yeah, that was how that product got developed. And then having all the different trucks, we were able to make a design that the actual base and part of the holder, it is the same piece for all trucks from 1947 to 1987, just with a different form in it. And they all bolt to factory bolt holes in the bottom of your dash. And it's an easy fix for an age-old problem, right?
Yeah, you've
Now,
definitely go ahead.
it's not like, I would say super high end, like these $100,000 bills, they got custom consoles or seats or whatever. But this for the average Joe that just needs a cup holder to throw his pop can or his water bottle in. They're $65 and you've got a water or a pop can holder in your old truck.
Yeah, and realize that there's more people with, with just old trucks that need a cup holder than there are SEMA $100,000-$200,000 trucks. So when you're in the business of making products,
Yeah.
that's a good thing. Then you guys really started stepping up the ingenuity. The tailgate saver. It's like, okay, now what we've done is we've taken products that the factory, just whether it was time, whether it was technology back then, they didn't have, and now a lot of modern cars have, that we get spoiled, and you guys have started to incorporate some of that technology into the other options that you guys make.
Yeah. The first one we did actually was a guy that was working for us, Dawson, and he had an OBS and whipped it up to make it work on that. And then it did. And then it was like, well, why can't these work on all the older trucks, right? And you just, again, now that we have this ability to come up with products and try and make them work, we played around with it for a bit. Lots of different versions we got of, like, I think we were 4 different samples and prototypes of the actuator, or not actuator, sorry, the dampener to get it sized and made properly to work with the weight of the tailgates. So there's a lot of back and forth on that. And then, the issue with the old ones, or the criticism we got when we first came out with them, was you're replacing those metal link bars on the tailgate. And originally it was like, well, you're going to have to ditch the one on your, whichever side you install the gate saver. So people criticize that, right? Then you're lessening the ability of your tailgate to hold weight and whatnot. And so then we came up with tailgate cables. I don't know if you saw those. We just got custom cables made to the same length of your factory bars in the hopes that would be the solution. So now we've got these modern style cables that replace those clangy, bangy, binding bars. But when we put it in with the gate saver, it didn't all want to fit nice in the opening or the gap that was there. And it had a tendency to want to push that cable out the gap. So we're like, shoot, back to the drawing board. We hit up the manufacturer that was making the dampeners and told them the issue. And we're like, what is the smallest diameter actually or dampener that we could get made? And it was funny. It was like, I think it was 3 millimeters narrower was all the difference we had to make. And so now we have what we call the Gen 2 gate saver, which most people wouldn't even know. But yeah, it's 3 millimeters difference. It works perfectly. You can add tailgate cables and gate savers to both sides. Or sorry, the cables to both sides with the gate saver, and it all works together nicely. So we're always trying to, like, again, when we make these things, it's not like, this is the end all be all of the product. We're continually looking at our own stuff or getting feedback from our customers and finding things out. And it's like, okay, we got to make this better, or, adjust it slightly or whatnot.
Do you ever get to a point where you work so hard on something and let's go down the scenario that it does work, because I'm sure there's times where it just doesn't and you're hoping that it does. And then something does work, you pitch it out to the world, and then you get, instantly you get like 7 emails, then it's 10 emails, 15 emails, and you're just like, why did we not think of that? And I'll almost give you the example is your first square body tail light filler. It was like, I remember when you posted it for the passenger side, for the audience, we're talking about your rear tail light. You flip open the gate and everybody's like, yeah, really cool. Why don't you do it on the driver's side so it makes it easier that we don't have to park on the other side, which we're spoiled now, in the States, for the most part, everything's been moved over the driver's side. And then all of a sudden you guys are probably like, why didn't we think of that? And then you switched it all out and you made it happen.
Yeah. It's such an interesting, the products and the whole business and stuff, man. And like, there's the other thing that I find that really gets you sometimes is you spend all this time and energy and stuff on a product that you think is just going to rock, and it doesn't, and it's like, huh, like and then there's ones that you're just like, you'll come out, like I'll get on Kris and he'll whip something up just to satisfy my need of wanting to have a new product, this week. And then it'll just be like a fire. I mean, they'll just sell like crazy hot. And it's like, what the heck? Like these ones that you put all this effort and energy and all this into, and they don't do nothing. And then you got the ones that, were just a quick kind of.
Give me an example, because I'd like to give you the lay perspective.
The one that got me was Kris is I don't know if you've seen that square body radio repair panel.
Filler, yeah.
Yeah, for the guys that, someone put a single DIN deck in and watched out their thing. Crazy how many of those we're selling. And like he made that, and I was, so this is the other thing is Kris is the square body, the C10 guy, right? And he knows those trucks far better than I do. And I've got, my 51, so I say I know the 47 to 54 stuff. And so yeah, I was kind of just like, didn't think much of that product. Yeah, and it's been extremely hot for us, so that's cool to see.
I was just talking to my concrete guy this morning. We were over doing some concrete work, and he was looking at one of the trucks, and we were talking, and that is exactly what he said. He's like, because he's got an old 90 Blazer, and he's like, yeah, the stereo's been cut. And I said, I remember talking to Jim and Steve Flanders from Brothers, and what's funny about this generation of truck builder is we are undoing what was done. So he's like, some guy put this switch bank in over here, put all these lights up here, wired this, cut the radio. And we want like the Virgin, right? We want it to be like non-cut, because we don't need a double DIN, single DIN. We need, Bluetooth cell phone type stuff. And nowadays the lighting, I mean, sometimes it's cool to have the old school stuff, even though it's not effective. Like you think about a big old yellow halogen style light, but then you put like one LED light with 6 quadrillion candle power versus like all these lights. So the technology phases with the purity of what once was, and that could keep a guy in business, because you're making product that will fix speaker holes cut in the doors, fix double DIN, single DIN dashes, and everything else that's been cut.
Yeah. Yeah, and the simple things too, like just the time savers. one of the ones that I still think is funny, we sell those little gas delete plates. And I mean, all it is a little circle formed to the shape of the cab corner of whatever year, right? We sell them for a bunch. And, they're $15. And it's, some people were saying like $15 for this little circle, but it's like, man, the time you're going to spend, templating, walking back, cutting metal, shaping it back and forth. Sure, you can do it. Like it might, but the point is that a lot of people's time is valuable too, right? And we want to save you guys time. I was just talking to another company, Bear Brothers?
But not the builders, I don't. I mean, like Bear Brakes, but no, yeah.
Okay, anyway, I was talking to John over there, and the same thing was pitching on him. I'm like, try and save you guys and your fabricators time and give you, these easy little parts that just, help save a guy time and hassle and templating and whatever. And what's your time worth?
Yeah, well, at $15 for that filler, you can look at a guy, it's all lawyer time, right? If you've ever had a lawyer, they bill in 6-minute increments. So if you break down a shop rate, let's just say it's $100, right? You're like, okay, well, at 60 minutes, I'd have to do my Mesa Public Schools math, but it's about $1.55 a minute. So you're like, well, how long is it going to take your guy, to make this and cut it out? So we've tried to make it in mass quantity for you and help you out. So what's something that's just, hasn't done as well as you has thought?
So you bought a C10 and it either had AC at one time or it wasn't even an option. Well, Vintage Air has the solution for you. Their SureFit kits are designed to place the evaporator and hoses behind the dash for a factory clean look. The Vintage Air SureFit kits are the best value and the most completely engineered air conditioning system you can install in your C10. Damn, son, the choice is obvious. VintageAir.com.
So you're thinking about converting your truck from a long bed to a short bed. Here's what you need. Brothers Trucks long bed to short bed conversion bracket. Includes laser etched steel templates with all the holes clearly marked and steel inner C-channel braces. It also includes front to rear brake lines, shorter parking brake cables, hardware, and all the detailed instructions telling you what to do. You can also jump on Brothers' YouTube channel for a detailed, step-by-step video to make the process easier. Brothers Trucks has an easy solution for you, and they even offer bedside parts as well. BrothersTrucks.com. Classic Performance Products, CPP back. Joe, let's talk X10 spindles. Go.
One of our most popular parts through the years has been our 2.5-inch drop modular spindles. Really popular part. Well, we've kind of taken that to the next step. We've emulated late model Corvette, Silverado, Chevy technology into our new X10 drop spindles. They use a steel hub, sealed bearing hub, really strong piece. It's oversized bearings, definitely great for a guy using big brakes, big wheels, which I'm sure all your guys are.
You need a new spindle anyways. You're going to lower your truck. You're running a bigger wheel, a bigger brake. CPP's got it for you with their new X10 spindle. Joe, as always, thank you. CPP, classicperform.com. It's classicperform.com. Sniper 2. Are you ready to switch out that old carb for a modern EFI system? Well, Holley has a solution for you. The all-new Sniper 2. This new system was redesigned from the ground up. Available in tumbled polished or black powder coat, and there's 3 available tuning interfaces. A classic 3.5 handheld, a 5-inch mountable, which includes a GPS speedo or a Bluetooth module so you can use your smartphone. Another big bonus is the Sniper 2 has a built-in transmission control module. So if you're looking to upgrade to a 4-speed overdrive, 4L60, 4L80, you now can with ease. Holley.com to get started today. Holley.com.
Marquet has been in business for over 40 years. It all started in the original owner's garage. From humble beginnings of a couple parts in a garage to a 2-building manufacturing facility making over 6,000 parts, Marquet has grown to be one of the country's premier truck parts manufacturers. They have made their original parts from the original trucks. All parts are manufactured in-house in Oklahoma City, USA. They offer quality parts built by Americans for old American-made trucks. So when you're looking for body moldings, bed strips, bedwood, and so much more, think Marquet. That's mar-k.com.
What's something that's just, hasn't done as well as you has thought?
I don't know. Like the tough thing I would say for us is the billet aluminum parts that we make, because like, so back to the whole story, after we got into sheet metal and got the firewalls, and we did some kick panels and door panels for the old trucks and started, I was still finishing my 51, and I ordered up a replacement speaker grill and glove box door for that. And I was just not at all impressed with the quality of the replacement parts that I got. And I was like, man, there's got to be a better way. And I walked into a friend of mine who has a CNC shop, and I'm like, Trevor, I got to get, what would it cost to get this made out of aluminum? And he, was like, holy cow, like, just to make one of these, do up the design, the CAD design, draw these up and test them out and blah, blah, blah. And I told him, like, well, I'll make a whole, I want to make a whole bunch. I think people would buy them and whatnot. So anyway, he took a risk on me, and he helped me through the designing and everything of the first ones that we ever made. And now we sell a good amount of those. Like, they're definitely leaps and bounds above any other option that's available on the market. But we don't sell a ton of them because they are expensive, right? Like, they're expensive to make. They're machined here in Canada. We have other parts that we've partnered with machining shops in the States that we make, our billet door handles or the billet brackets that we make for our hood strut kits. But it's all North American made, and it's expensive. Like, it's just really expensive to make. So it's expensive for us to sell to customers too. So some of those, like, I wish we could do them for less and sell a lot more, but I also am not just going to outsource those and get them made overseas or whatever, because they keep our friends in business and machining parts for us, and we can say they're made in Canada or made in the US.
Yeah. Do you feel like I was talking to the guy the other day at Eddie Motorsports, and he was we were at the Slowdown, and they were doing all this interior stuff. And I was like, what are you guys doing interior stuff for now? Like, when I think about Eddie Motorsports, I think about hood hinges and all these billet parts, right? And he's like, the market is so saturated with guys doing billet parts that we have to kind of evolve. Do you get to a point where maybe 5-6 years ago, you and Kris are sitting there and you're like, okay, let's make this billet part, let's make this. And then before you know it, there's 5 other companies doing the same thing?
Trying to think of our specific billet parts. I don't think we have. We just don't really like getting into the small niche market. Like, if there's somebody making a part that we would, that'd be cool if we made it, we generally will reach out and try to partner with them. Like, we sell all of CVF billet hinges, right? That's who, we met them, we hit it off. They've been great, and they sell a great American made product. And so we're not going to create competition in a small niche market just because we can, right? Like, I love all the companies. We work with a ton of companies now, and it's kind of been like a branch of our business was to partner with other companies that are making cool custom parts for Chevy trucks. We just started this year. We just started selling the power window kits for the trucks. We've partnered with Trick Manufacturing, so we sell all their latches. We partnered with Spare Time Fab, LG Billet. There's a whole bunch.
Are you partnered with New Relic on the power systems?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the other guy I'm trying to get on that talk about. He's just so busy.
Yeah. So and he was really hesitant, and like, he's told me, like, he will not go to these big distributors because he's not about that. I don't think he could keep up.
Great problem to have, right?
It is a great problem to have. It's almost, it would be a great problem to solve too, like to get bigger and get after those guys. Because like, we don't really advertise it too much, but we sell through a handful of distributors down in the US too, right? That we've met through these shows that wanted our products, and we take any opportunity we can get to work with whoever. So
yeah. Well, what about like, and I just wonder, like, your tailgate stuff. I almost feel like, do you ever get to a point where, and I actually can't remember, but I know Trey 5 came out with a tailgate saver, somebody else came out with a tailgate saver, and then you guys came out with tailgate saver, right? Is it all the same or is it different?
It depends who you're thinking of there. So Trey 5 sells ours with their tailgate latch kits, right? They make that upgraded latch kit for the 67 to 70.
Yeah, and maybe that's what it is. They sell yours. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So they sell our gate saver. Jason Venata sells both kits, right? So he gets the gate savers from us and the latch kits from Jeremy there, and then he sells that. And then like LG Billet, they sell the gate saver for the OBS. That's ours as well.
Yeah. So that works out too. It's funny though, because they might market it, and I'm not saying that they do, but it might not be like, well, oh, that's LS Fab, or that's LG Billet, or that's Trey 5, or that's Veneta Fab. But that's good for you, obviously.
Yeah, I've never been one to say, oh, it has to have our name on it and people need to know. I mean, if they make a sale and they got to make, another order from us, perfect. Yeah, and that was part of the start of the partnership too, and we sell a ton of the LG Billet stuff for the OBS trucks. Like, and the only major parts that we have for those trucks is that gate saver. So they come to our site and buy a gate saver and a handful of LG Billet parts, and everybody wins.
Yeah, for sure. Is it hard to be in Canada? Is there times where you guys are just like, we need to relocate to the States? Like we need to, now Trump's talking about these tariffs. And I wonder if you guys are stressed, or if North America, obviously growing up in the 80s, we have the NAFTA, and then we have which for the audience, if you don't know, that's the North American Free Trade Association. And that was more Mexico, I think, than anything. It was allowed the car companies to pretty much ship everything to Mexico and get labor for pennies on the dollar and keep cars going. That's why a lot of stuff, you look at your Chevrolet, is built in Mexico. So with that, do you guys just stress out like, if Trump gets elected, we're going to get tariffs on stuff? Or I don't know. I don't know how that works, because I'm buying.
I think Canada, US is a pretty friendly. I don't know if he would get like that on some of this stuff. You guys are the largest importer of our oil and gas products, right?
Well, I'll tell you where it's not friendly is every time I try to ship something up to Canada. It is crazy. I feel bad for Canadians who buy stuff from the States. It is crazy how much, like, something will be $8 for me to ship to Florida, and for me to ship it to you in Canada, it's $58 to $64.
Yeah, that's the worst, is for the Canadian consumer trying to build trucks up here, man. The shipping is outrageous. I always say shipping is the enemy. And it's been one of our biggest things is tackling shipping. So we don't have a brick and mortar store or shop up here, right? We work out of my garage and Kris's shop. We send out orders now every day. We ship via Canada Post, which turns into USPS when it crosses the border. There's no duties or taxes on our stuff coming into the US. And then a lot of the companies, like I said, that we partnered with, the agreement is that it's all automated now. And when we get a ship or an order, from an American customer, if it all works out, they'll drop ship it for us from their location in the US to get it to the customer sooner.
And probably cheaper.
Sooner, cheaper, yeah. And again, it's just that avenue for another sale. And it's, at the end of the day, it's about making sure the customer's happy, right? So we try to do what we can to make sure they get the product as fast as possible, as cheap as possible. But yeah, it is tough, and we get those questions, and then you have these shipping problems, right? You got these strikes at the port, you got delays at at customs at the border, sometimes unannounced. And the worst thing for us is once you give the shipping companies your product, they hold the reputation of your company in their hands. And I don't know how many times, we request reviews on our products from our customers, and we'll get a crappy review because of shipping, right?
Yeah.
Which is, or you'll get an email from an upset customer that's like, where the heck is my product, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, man, we're not in the box. I don't know anything more than what your tracking tells you. Like, we can file an investigation, and usually by the time we do that, it ends up on their doorstep. But yeah, the shipping definitely makes it tough. But that's not just for us. I mean, that's for you too, I'm sure.
Well, it does happen in the States as well. USPS, I think the cheaper USPS is going to be a little higher probability. Depends on if it's a small package. They get, a lot of claims. UPS, FedEx, not so much. I mean, I think UPS is rock solid. I mean, I'm getting so many emails that say, here's what you ordered, here's the tracking number, and it's pretty professional. And obviously, even lately when I get stuff from you, I've got some hood supports that should be here like today. I've got this tail light filler that's going to, that came, and, stuff is very informative from LS Fab. And when we in most anything, whether I'm getting it from Summit, LMC, whoever I'm buying it from, even, AZ Pro, obviously I just go buy it. But, for the most part, if I have to order something, I've got a pretty good tracking number.
Yeah. Yeah. And we're always trying to work on that to keep, because that's the biggest thing, is to keep the customers informed and up to date. And it might sound selfish, but to lessen the amount of phone calls and emails we get where we have to try and find them stuff, right? Like it's easier just to keep them informed right from the get-go. So we're actually, and I'm glad you say that, because you do get those emails and everything, but we are working to upgrade that and increase that communication via text and email and better updates throughout the product's journey. So, but yeah, it's being in Canada is definitely I would say like kind of a hindrance, and we try not to actually advertise too much. Like, I wonder, for the average Joe that finds us, if they actually know that we are located in Canada. It's not like it's screaming at you that, when you go on the website, that we're a Canadian based company. And we do that by design, because typically our packages can be anywhere from 3 to 8 business days to anywhere in the US. And the reason we use Canada Post USPS is that we found, like with UPS and FedEx, I don't know about coming down to you guys, but whenever we order something, like I order something from you and you set it up UPS, we get charged like a $38 brokerage fee, whether it's a $5 part or a $500 part. They charge you for brokering it into Canada. And then there's the chance that like the duties and taxes and UPS is, and Canada Post doesn't charge those brokerage fees. And so yeah, we've had good success with them so far.
Yeah, they must have a thing worked out, right? Which is good,
But getting into bigger products too is tough. And that's something that I don't know if, like, you maybe probably haven't noticed, but like we don't get into big items and big products. And every time we design something, you have to think about the shippability and the size of this product and how that's going to work. Because the cost of every shipment is, to the States is an international shipment. So it has kind of put the brakes on some ideas we've had, because we can't ship, over 50 pounds or a huge size without an extreme weight. I'm sure Mike Losh has told you that, I'm sure his biggest battle is with the tubs and everything is the shipping.
Yeah, we've talked about that multiple times, where he almost wishes he just had a store on the other side of the border. Same thing. I mean, I know a handful of guys that they have addresses in, North states, whether it's up in, Michigan, Montana, over in New York, because they're close enough to where they're like, I'll get a US, PO box, go across the border, grab my stuff, and then go back, because of the amount of money and time. And it really is unfortunate that they can't just be a little bit more cognizant and mindful to think, hey, what are we dealing with here? Just let this be a little more open. And I think it just ends up being customs. Customs will slow things down for us in the States. And this is only my personal experience. I don't know for people that ship every day, but if I'm shipping small stuff, USPS that's always going to be the cheapest. But once you start getting bigger and bigger, then you really have to look at your UPS, your FedEx, and then anything overseas. Then I usually try to go DHL. But it's that if you try to ship something big by USPS, you're going to get killed on that. And bottom line is, you kind of look at what it costs to ship, and you look at the trucks that they're delivering in. USPS is running around in little S10 based little minivan looking things. What can Brown do for you is riding around in big cargo trucks, just like FedEx. So hell, now I guess we have Amazon. Have you ever thought about that? Could you ever team up with Amazon and put your stuff on Amazon and put a bunch of cup holders and filler panels on Amazon? Are they on Amazon?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I wonder how that would work.
Cup holders and gate savers and that sort of stuff. So right now, until it becomes like a high enough sales item, we just ship them ourselves, right? So
okay.
There's no not warehoused by Amazon or anything like that yet. Yeah, that was some our website guy took on this year actually, and we started with some of our most popular and smaller items to test the waters and get everything functioning on the website, talking to Amazon and whatnot. So yeah, we just did that this year.
Good. Yeah, so I could see that being a helpful thing. How have the tail light, especially the square body, because nobody else is doing that. I know in the 67 to 72, there's a handful of different companies. I want to say 3 or 4. I'd have to think about it, but 3 or 4 companies doing your 67 to 72 tail light, slide, or lift. You guys are the only ones doing the square body that I know of. How's this working out?
It's been good. Yeah, I mean, having the market on that and coming to market with a full assembly like we did. Yeah, well, I mean, you got one. So that was kind of a different angle that we took. We knew we wanted to make something there, and it was quite an intricate space that we were dealing with. And we brought on a guy, Kyle is his name, and we went full tech or like new age on that product. So that we had full 3D scans of the taillight bucket and the taillight and the housing and everything of the box side. And then it was all designed in AutoCAD and functioning on a computer and everything before it went to production. And then all the cut files and everything was all designed and formed by Kyle. And it was quite an undertaking for him. He went overboard on the design. You can tell it's not just some sort of, a lot of guys have done similar, like with a fuel door hinge or something, right? Modified that to work and whatnot. This was a totally new kind of concept design. He came up with every part and piece of that and the functionality of it. And yeah, so it was also quite labor intensive and cost intensive to make that product. But yeah, I don't know. It's been good and it's been selling well for us. It is a more expensive kit than our 67 to 72 because there is a lot more involved in the design and the manufacturing and the parts and everything, as you can see in the kit. And the next thing we're working on actually is getting that housing built as one piece with all of the edges finished. So again, like we're constantly trying to upgrade or make our products better if there is angles and ways, and we love getting the customer feedback and input on these things too, because we don't always get it right the first time, right? I'm sure you've done lots of things on your builds in the past where you're like, looking back, I wish I would have done something a little bit different or put more time into it. And that's yeah, we keep working on all of our items and trying to make them better and faster and
Yeah, for sure. No, I get that 100%. Almost every build, you do something, you learn. What would you do different along the way? I think this is an absolutely high quality part. Again, for the audience, we're talking about your square body, whether you want passenger or driver side, rear tail light, door, so that if you choose to move one of your saddle tanks or add to it or put really what we would call a blazer tank in the back, your spare tire tank, you can do that. LS Fab offers this up. The one thing that I when it first came out, the comments have always got to be fun is how can you have electrical in the same compartment as gas vapors? It's going to blow.
What's your take on that, firefighter?
Hey guys, are you thinking about swapping out your old motor for a more reliable LS-LT based power plant? Behind each PSI harness, you get over 10 years of experience in the business, online tech support, phone support, and harnesses made in the U.S. That's psiconversion.com. Hey guys, whether you're coming or going, UP Car Parts has you covered, or in this case, has you bumpered. They offer high quality premium heavy stamp steel as original in either chrome or black paintable for the C10 Nation. They have all generations covered and ready to ship today. So when you think bumpers, think UP Car Parts. upcarparts.com.
Need C10 parts? Well, here at Pro, we actually have trucks. We build them, we drive them, and we deal with them every day. It's just part of who we are. We carry the best products for your truck project from the major name brands such as QA1, React, Painless, Dakota, Beltec, Borgeson, Bear, and even more. Give us a call or check us out on the web.
You've heard me talk about my gauges, Dakota Digital. I love them. Dakota Digital has the best gauges for our trucks. These kits are complete with sensors for any engine. They look just like the stock clusters, but have all the technology you'd expect from Dakota Digital. It's like a modern truck, but even better in a classic. Dakota Digital is absolutely the best in aftermarket gauges, so check them out at dakotadigital.com. dakotadigital.com.
The one thing that I when it first came out, the comments have always got to be fun. Is how can you have electrical in the same compartment as gas vapors? It's gonna blow.
What's your take on that, firefighter?
My take is this does majority of the problems, and that is just this filler that is there. So I think that the filler, and if I'm understanding, when I wire this up, I am also going to put an LED light in there. I'm not putting your 1157 or whatever the normal light bulb is going to be. But at that point, still, everything. Again, this all goes back to who's doing the wiring. So how many times have you looked at something where if we have everything shrink wrapped and we have everything protected the way that we're going to protect it, and we might overprotect it, sorry, because we're on a hinge system, but the way that you have the grommet that comes through for the wiring, I don't see a problem for it at all.
Yeah. Yeah, we've had, I mean, that is one of the best keyboard warrior kind of comments we've had on these. And there's a lot of thought and time. And like, so our 67 to 72, you can only use with the LED tail light. That 73 to 87, the way that it's designed, it can work with factory tail lights. But again, those 1157s are pushed and sealed into the housing of that tail light, right? So that coming up, I mean, there's, I guess, like you said, the potential that those cords, the wires, could wear and you could create a spark. I mean, there's that potential anywhere in your vehicle, though, right? Anywhere you've got your fuel system, your gas tank. I mean, the gas tanks in lots of these trucks are right in the cab, right? How often are they venting into your...
Well, the other thing that kind of really does, I mean, if we want to add some humor to it, is there are scenarios where guys will have a smoke and put the actual cigarette burning butt in your motorcycle gas tank. And what it comes down to, and I'm not going to get into it, the audience, because you could always have the right ratio, but you have to have the right flammability in a certain ratio. If you put straight fire in gasoline, it doesn't mean that it's going to explode. You have to have the vapor, and the vapor is what causes the problem, obviously. Yeah. So there's a lot of variables that go into this whole thing. I think that being cognizant and shrink wrapping and limiting my sources, and then obviously checking my vapors, making sure that my vapors from my tank are going somewhere else, I think I feel pretty safe. And the good thing about it is, just like you said, rather than a tank behind my seat or in a square body under my ass, if it does decide to explode, it's about the farthest part of the truck that's all the way in the back, and I feel like I'll be okay.
Yeah. But so, I mean, besides, there's always going to be the critics, right? We've got critics on, like you and I were talking about a little bit prior, the cup holders, which have been an awesome, easy fix to an age-old problem. You have the critics of that because it's just a laser cut piece of sheet metal, and they're saying, it could slice your leg open and stuff. It's like, man, there's that potential. Yep. We've came out with a lot of products, and there's always people to criticize. And we just, some of it, you just take with a grain of salt, and others, if it's a good point and stuff, you have to be open enough to accept these suggestions and ideas and make them better. Like we said with the gate saver and the tailgate cables, people criticize that not having the metal bars on the tailgate. So we went back to the drawing board and made modern style steel cables that now replace it and fix that problem. And yeah, that was a great, observation from, or or critique from the customers, and so we went back to the drawing board and made it better.
Well, and one of the critiques, again, I know we're, audio here for the folks, but I was giving him a hard time because what you have for the square body, I'm holding the square body rear tail light filler because I'm going to use this on my 76 Big Sky. Is you have what I would call an outline of the hinge that's opening. So think about your normal 73 to 80. I guess you could go all the way up to 91 if you want. Recessed bezel, and now they've added a hinge with the spring tensioner. Well, the spring is on the top, and on the bottom, there's a little gap there. And he said, hey, this is just the skeleton of that said door. So once you put your tail light, you affix your tail light there, that's going to give this window frame a ton of integrity, because right now it's just I don't even know, 3/8 square window frame with a
and
couple
it's got flex to it, and right, so the tail light adds all the strength and rigidity to that piece once it's bolted up. So the thing with that too, Ronnie, was like when we started with this whole idea, one of the things that we were hearing from the 67 to 72 version was that people wished it could be bolted. So you didn't, if you had a painted truck, you're not cutting and grinding and welding on a truck. I mean, you're going to have to do that no matter what, but to have to weld the entire perimeter in, you got a paint job. It's been done. We've had lots of customers do it, but it obviously takes a lot more time and skill and patience. So one of the requirements that we had with this one is we want it to be a bolt-in or weld-in kit. So being that it's bolt-in, it bolts to the factory kind of recess where the taillight goes there. There's no option to move it further back and make more room. So the thickness of that piece, if it was thicker, is going to push that taillight out more and create a larger gap, there. So there's kind of a lot of design constraints just in that, making it a bolt-in kit.
And for the audience to make sure that we're audibly explaining it, the window or door, that it's a door that isn't a skeleton like a window, okay, a frame.
Yeah.
I don't even know what is the mil on that. I know, but is that 18 mil? What is this?
It's either 16 or 18 gauge.
Okay, so 16 or 18 gauge. So what he's saying is, hey, they wanted this to, you're trying to make it as thin as possible so that your tail light, once mounted, doesn't recess out further than another side. Like, okay, maybe just a scotch. So the only other thing,
Ronnie, like if you just use the tail light and it didn't, imagine if it only bolted to the farthest outside of the tail light and it didn't have that structure, the tail light would still be the door, right?
Yeah. So I get that. The only other thing too, and like you were saying, you're going to make adjustments. Before we went on air, I was giving him a hard time, kind of a fun hard time, about the spring tensioner is going to be on the top. So the upper left. Well, the bottom right has a little spot there because I don't have my taillight hooked up. And I said, well, you could run another spring at the bottom. And we were kind of talking. The whole point is it's a very, very high quality piece. It is expensive. I was a little blown away at how much it costs, but I get that there's a lot of R&D in this and there's a lot of work. But you're always looking at how I can make things better. How can we make things better for the end user? And that's all we ask. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think too, like the other thing with some of these, the cost versus, the products and whatnot is a lot of the time too, is you're building or you're buying the instructions or the install process too, right?
There you go. See, process. I told you he was going to say it. He's going to say process.
Yeah. So like when you buy that, it comes with, we make the videos because a picture's worth 1,000 words. I don't know what a video is worth, hopefully a little more. And when you go watch that video of Kris installing it, hopefully you can walk away and have a good idea and a way to tackle this, right? And not be reinventing the wheel, spending tens of hours, trying to make your taillight open in a decent manner. So yeah.
It's a great point because I bought products that do not come with videos. This is pre-video days, pre-YouTube days, and no paper instructions and some pretty expensive parts. And you're like, man, I know I'm not the most mechanically inclined guy, but I know I'm also not the least. So now I've got to figure this out. And when you factor in your time, it is nice that we can just jump on a YouTube or a social
Well, we're
media
always
post.
here. Like we are always here. If we keep our phone numbers on the website and they're our personal cells, and like, because we know what it's like. You're on a, Saturday, you work all week, you're on a Saturday wrenching on your truck, you go to install some LS Fab products and you aren't quite sure, you're having an issue. We are always trying to be there to help the customers because we know what it's like when you're in that position, right? So if anyone is on here listening and never has that issue, or issues with our stuff, like, just give us a call, man. We're always here to try and help. Or it might not even be you. It might be an issue with the product that we have to take care of too, right? So yeah.
Have you ever, what would you say is one of the most common email, phone call questions you get to let's say that somebody's
on top of the shipping ones we were talking about? Like,
no shipping, just product questions, so that if somebody's listening to this, they can say, oh yeah, I remember them talking about that on the pod. This is how I solved that problem, or this is the common issue.
So the one that comes to mind for me that I always end up getting and then dealing with is on the 47 to 54 hood strut kits. So we make the hood props for the 47 to 54 trucks, and 99% of the time they are awesome for the customers, and you get all the reviews. Like, we've got tons of great reviews. The fitment is better. They function great. Everybody loves them. But what happens is you get guys that bought with their factory springs and got tired of it, and so they just ditched the factory springs and say they used a prop rod or something on their hood, right? And then they see our struts and they're going to add these to their hood. Well, when you go add 200 plus pounds of pressure to that hood, you're totally changing the dynamic of that hood, and it's going to need realignment. So I get the upset customer that's like, this has popped back of my hood up, half of an inch at the cowl, and they're upset with the product, right? But again, they send an email. I usually like to call and talk to a person. There's lots of videos out there. I send the YouTube links to showing how these guys realign the hoods, and you got to loosen off your hinges, and it takes two guys. So I walk them through the process, and I tell them if they need any help to give me a call back, and usually able to help them get it resolved. But that's one of the ones that I get quite a bit.
What about Kris? Do you know the ones he's dealing with?
All the C10 is, well, like he's the expert, right? So he gets all the. Nowadays, I just get an email that's something to do with a C10 part, and I just go, forward, Kris. Here you go.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can imagine there's lots. We've had one, man. We had a guy that ordered one of those cup holders, and it's 2 bolts to put it in, and it's a laser cut piece of stainless steel, and it comes with that that protective coating on it. And I remembered it vividly because the guy called and he was so upset. He was mad at us. He ordered this part. He's disappointed. It didn't show up looking anything like it does. It's supposed to be stainless steel. And he says it's got all this lettering on it and it looks like it's plastic. And I'm like, on the phone, I'm like, did you peel the protective coating off? And you know what coating I'm talking about? Like when it's on.
100%. Yeah.
You can hear him peel it off on the phone. And his exact words is like, well, I'll be damned.
I'll be damned. Well, at least he was like, my bad.
Yeah.
I'll be damned.
But he was so mad when he called, and it's just like, all right, man, you have a good day.
That's how those 49 to 54 guys are. They're a little whack.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, it's, I mean, so you get all sorts, but again, yeah, you gotta take care of everybody, and I don't know. We just deal with everything. I can't say there's a specific thing because it just keeps coming through, and you roll with the punches. And a lot of time, like I said, it's the shipping, right? Mm-hmm. People have issues with shipping, and it's so unfortunate that these companies hold your company's in their grasp when they take your product, and then they don't deliver it on time, or it's delayed and whatnot. It is extremely frustrating for sure, but.
Yeah, but I think you guys are doing a good job. I think when I ordered this last round of stuff, it came within a reasonable time. I also think that, too, we are spoiled, that there was times where, and I've talked about it for years and years, we used to have to mail order to get a catalog and then write it down and wait weeks. And we got to a point where, we expect it in 3 days. So you almost have to say, hey, listen, try to do, a 2 week, if you need it in 2 weeks, try to have a 2 week timetable set ahead if you can in a perfect world. And if you ain't getting your stuff in 2 weeks, then we got a problem, right?
We try to be as transparent as we can too. Like most all of our products, we work our butts off to have inventory in stock. And like if you order it today, it's shipping out tomorrow. For all the LS Fab stuff that we manufacture in-house and do, like if it's out of stock, you won't be able to order it on the website. We don't mess around with taking your money on a product that we don't have ready. If we know that it's out of stock, whether it's ours or any of the partner companies we sell or anything, it's not available to be ordered on the website until it's in stock. Same thing when we're working on something new. Like we just came out with there's a 3-inch wheel tub that we got for the back of the trucks there. We came out with last year. We just took delivery of our 5-inch tubs, and people have been asking us to pre-order those ever since we got word that we were going to be making them. And we won't take the money and do pre-order stuff because until it's in our hands, like I don't want to be, handling people's orders and money that we don't have the product for. So yeah, that's one of the new things. I kind of made a list of this year's stuff. I was going to kind of tell you that the things that we had and we're coming down.
Anything besides blankets. Why a fab shop's doing blankets, I don't know. We'll waste a lot of your time on why the hell you guys are doing blankets. I don't know, but I want to hear everything you guys are working on, and I want to hear what you're bringing down to the get down, and then I'm going to give you even more of a hard time about your blankets.
Are you just mad because you don't have one yet, or what?
I live in Arizona. You know how many Mexican blankets I have? I bet I have 3 in this shop.
Nice.
You know how many Mexican blankets? If you live close to Yuma or Mexico, I can get those things for they're throwing them at me. They're everywhere. But I was just like, I'm like, what are these guys doing? They're a fab shop, and now they're selling blankets. So what else is new, and what are you guys making?
All right. So yeah, last year when we came down, we had just unveiled that square body taillight fuel filler. So those are in full swing production now. We've got those driver and passenger side.
Hey, how about this real quick? I hate to interrupt you the way I did. Are you seeing a lot more passenger or driver? Are people staying passenger because that's where the tubing is and they're happy with that?
Driver, we probably sell like 3 to 1, driver to passenger.
So it's a good thing you guys said we need. How did that go about? Did you see the comments and be like, oh shit, we need to reverse engineer this or upside down and flip it up?
It was actually in the works. Like, so again, like the way.
Come on.
Well, you remember how I told you
I'm joking.
and we did everything? It was literally like clicks of the mouse to inverse the design and flip it. So it wasn't.
I think there's a Belle Biv DeVoe song like that for my older audience. Smack it up, lick it, lay it down. Oh no.
The way we the reason like we had that one that was the first video we put up that had everybody talking and commenting was us just going through the fitment of the first one, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't even available at that time, and yeah, it was just literally the few clicks of the mouse and laser cutting, and it's actually the same bracket. You just form it backwards, right? So yeah, no, that was
very entertaining. That first week of just comments alone, it's gonna blow up. Why didn't you guys make it on this side? Why didn't you do this? So yeah everybody's got an idea. So
yeah, no, and it's always fun to watch that stuff. You know what? Another thing to go back to, like stuff that's worked great for us that we struggle with now. I don't even know if that's going back. We didn't really talk about that, but social media, man. Like we built, this company off the back of Instagram, and I find it so frustrating and hard now on Instagram. Like, I don't know if we're shadow banned or throttled, and I've talked to a lot of the other, companies out there, and it's the same thing. It's like, I don't know if our content isn't as cool as we used to be or what, but it is so hard to get seen and to get the views and the likes and the whatever. Of course, we'll have those random things that take off and go viral on us, like the blankets, and then you'll have these other videos and stuff that don't do anything, and they're an awesome brand new product that we're trying to promote. So
I think just so you know, I deal with that. I laugh how I can have, like, for example, C10 Nation 250,000, C10 Talk 100 and some thousand. OBS Talk completely hacked, could never get it back, 55,000. Worked my butt off. Never did a mean post, never did a bad post. No wieners hanging out, no nothing, and can't get it back. Can't get a hold of Meta. Absolute, just really just depressing. So I get that, and I'm not really selling anything. I'm just having a good time.
Mm-hmm.
And I almost wonder if they want you to pay the influencers or something, because I can have a post, and sometimes I'll post the same thing, and man, it can even just be as simple as the music. And I could post, like, let's just call it Windex bottle post number 1, and I put this music on it, and it does 150 likes or something. And then I'll wait 2 weeks, and I can do Windex bottle, and I can do like maybe a front and a back and a different song, and the damn thing will freaking just go off. And so I don't know what the answer is. I can tell you that you just got to keep on keeping on. And I don't really play the game though. Like, there's some companies that will, and also I would say guys that I know,
Mm-hmm.
and they get way after it. Like, oh, you need to, hey, post and like this. Hey, comment and like, comment and like. If you send me a DM and you're telling me to comment and like something that I don't even barely follow you, then you're just trying to work the algorithm. And
Yeah.
I just don't, I'm not into that. Like, it's just, I mean, I don't know. It's just ridiculous, but it is a struggle for everybody. And it's not just you. And I assume you're hearing that from a lot of other people as well.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of all around, it seems. And we've tried the angles. Like, we have our website and IT guy, Taylor, that he came to Dino's there last year, or not Chris, as other guys like to call him. Chris, and not Chris. He's been trying stuff. You know, we tried getting that blue check mark. What a waste of time. And it just cut off the music so we ditched that. We've tried running the ads and doing the stuff to see if that, brings back, or, like you said, like that's what they want. We were thinking the same thing, and nothing really seems to be doing it. And it's so weird. I remember last year, because it kind of gets you discouraged, right? To put all the effort and time into a cool post or videos and stuff. And last year we came down to Dino's, and the amount of people that were like, oh, we were watching your drive down and we were following you on the way down. And it's like, man, the number of people that came and told us that versus the whatever 100 and some views it said we got. I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. I feel like, just with the people we saw, there's so many, and it says we have 100 and some views. Like, I don't understand, but.
Well, that would actually be almost like, I guess, a little bit refreshing, because it is.
Yeah. It's almost like it's lying to us.
It is the same thing. It's the same thing. I'll post something or even do something on the pod, and somebody will be like, oh yeah, I saw you did that, or you did that. And you're like, holy crap, I had no clue. Like, because it's like nobody's seeing it. So you never know what to believe.
And for us, man, that, to loop this into Dino's is like, for us to come down to Dino's is just the coolest. The best part is like meeting these customers and seeing the people and shaking hands with, there's some customers we met, at Dino's, and being able to attend these shows in the States, is that we get to meet our customers, shake hands with the people that are buying our products, right? See our products, man. You walk around Dino's, and even in like the top 100, there's nothing more rewarding for us, just as like, we're just normal truck guys like you and everyone else. And to see products, like for me specifically, I make all of our scissor hinges, and I walked through, the open house the night before last year. There's 4 or 5 of the trucks at his shop with our scissor hinges in it, right? And then walking through the top 100 trucks, same thing. It is so cool, and it is so hard to never lose sight of that, man. Like, people are putting products that we put our efforts and thought and work into, and then they're putting them into building their dream trucks or whatever, right? So it is the most rewarding to be down there and meet people and stuff. And I think for you guys, like, you take it for granted maybe a little bit, because you get to go to all these awesome shows every other weekend. There seems to be these unbelievable truck shows down in the States. And for us, this is it. I like to say, like, this is the Super Bowl of truck shows, right? There's nothing else in the world that compares to Dino's. Or I guess for us, it's like the Stanley Cup.
Yeah. The Stanley Cup. I like that. You got to make sure you get that Canadian perspective. What's
Yeah.
a show that you would love to go to sometime that you haven't had a chance to attend?
There's we've been invited to so many. So again, this goes back to like just my wheelhouse. We've been a main sponsor for these two. It's called AD Nationals and Smoky Mountain Nationals, and they're 47 to 54 specific. And they're kind of, piggybacking off of these C10 shows. Those are two that I personally would really like to go to, being that I have a 51, and a lot of those customers were on the Facebook groups that started with us when we were just two guys hand bead rolling, hand cutting firewalls, right? So again, for more of to actually go meet, the people that have supported us, those are two shows I'd love to hit up. But we're also like, that's where I'd love to lean on. And Kris and I have talked about trying to make it to more shows, and both from, which ones to see and which ones we might have the best chance of having success at. We'd love to hear which ones even, what do you think we should come down to if we were to come down for a couple more shows, say, next year?
Well, I'm saying no sell. Just get on a plane. Where do you want to go?
What's the big one in Texas there? Drawing
LST?
Yeah, Lone Star Throwdown.
Yeah, that one's pretty awesome. Definitely got yeah.
Never been. And yeah, we would love to just get on a plane and attend it. That's actually one of the things we say too, is like, we've never got to go to Dino's. We've never seen Dino's, because we get there, we set up, we're in the booth, we're working, and we might get to walk, most of the vendor area but we don't get to see the whole show. You know what I mean? It's
you ought to almost, like you say, you're like, hey, okay, next year we're going to go to LST and we're going to get on a plane and we're just going to hand out cards and we're going to see the show. And then we're going to make the decision whether or not we're going to try to attend as somebody who's going to sell some.
So we were going to do this year.
Yeah. That was going to be one of my recommendations. That can be for the audience, between my coughing and him showing us, he showed us his SEMA passes. So he's not coming to SEMA. Probably hard right before the get down.
Here's my question to you. So we would be flying in on November 5th.
Okay.
Anything else going on down there that day?
November 5th. Well, I'm just trying to think. So SEMA is like 5th, 6th, 7th or something like that.
It's your election day.
Oh yeah. That doesn't matter though.
I don't know, man. It's like,
no.
Of all days to be in the air flying into the U.S., I think no matter what way, I don't want to get political here. We don't have time. We'll be on here all night.
My God. You guys watch. I love that is like, you wouldn't even know a difference. I mean, the only difference is people are, man, I wish all of a sudden, we'll see how much I can edit all that out. Sorry, guys. But is the biggest difference is people just, so many people pre-vote everything, and it would almost be fun just to see the craziness of what's going to happen. And no matter what, it's going to be sore losers and
that's right,
elated winners.
We are playing with the idea. We're trying to.
So you would come down and then go back, or come down. I guess you have to come down, go back, get your stuff, and then too bad you just can't make the whole trek.
Well, that's what I said. I'm like, or maybe we could find somewhere in Vegas. We'll leave the truck and trailer. We'll fly home for 5-6 days, and then we'll fly back and drive the rest of the way. But yeah, it's quite a thing. And then for us, like for Kris to be able to leave the shop and stuff, right? So, we do have another new guy that used to be with us. That's kind of was with us off the hop, and then went to another line of work, and we've conned him into coming back here shortly. So he might be coming. I think he's coming to Dino's with us. And our website guys, so that we'll have 4 guys there this year, which will be awesome. So,
what's the new guy? So you got Kris, not Chris, and then what's the new guy's name?
Dawson,
like Dawson's Creek.
Yeah.
All right, nice work, Dawson. Okay, so what are you bringing to the get down? What's new? What's happening? What are we pumped up about? What are we excited about?
So the new stuff, I was just going to go over like what we've kind of come up with or worked on this year. So we had last year we unveiled and brought out those 3-inch tubs. We now have the 5-inch version, which we just took delivery of. So we'll be bringing and have the 5-inch. They're kind of a universal rear wheel tub, right? Super nice. And then I don't know if you remember this, but it was the Billet Easy Fill, that tail light, the filler neck with the spring loaded filler neck for just you shove the nozzle in.
Yep, I remember that.
We built that to work with the 67 to 72s because guys were, saying that their hand, guys that have big hands couldn't get in to unscrew the cap inside behind that taillight. So
for the audience, just think like in your newer vehicle where you flap open your door and there is no gas cap or fuel cap, right? It's just got a open orifice with an under spring loaded retainer, and you can push a fuel nozzle in there. Okay.
And it's all billet aluminum. And then we made it to be a direct replacement for those marine style, unscrew style ones that we have. So yeah, that's a fully, designed and made product by us too, that we made to be replaceable for the previous ones. That square body taillight fuel filler, we've gone over that a bit. The other thing was that those dash repair panels that we talked about, right? That Kris
gotta have that. Yep.
Yeah, so I mean, those are a nice, easy for the guy that's rebuilding an older one, like wants to go back to stock, like you said. We got the radio repair panels, and then there's a lot of guys out there making a version. We whipped one up because we were getting asked a bunch. It was just like an inside box fuel filler, just one of those little ones that mounts in the corner of your truck box. So guys that don't want to do these fancy taillight fuel fillers and all the work involved with that, it's just basically a cube that houses the filler neck and goes in the box of the truck.
I would call that a bed. I don't know, maybe that's Canadian versus American, but inside the bed of the truck, you'll have a rigid exterior. It's almost like a Blazer. If you guys have ever seen a Blazer, they've got the neck that comes down. Some guys will do that with a truck where you'll reach over the tailgate, and instead of going direct fill, you can have it go to the driver's side back where your stake hole is, and you can have a filler there. So that makes it clean.
Yeah. So we whipped some of those up. And then the one that I did there was the 47 to 53 tailgate trunnions, billet aluminum. Yep. With the Delrin bushing and stuff. So I don't know if you know, on those old trucks, it's just an old metal trunnion and a metal hole in your tailgate. I mean,
there's a guy that does them for the square bodies. Do you know his name? I'm gonna get
trunnions.
What, GD, right?
GD, yeah.
Yeah. He, I met him. He's up in the Pacific Northwest. But yeah, it gives it that more of what would you call that? Instead of metal on metal, you get the. I guess
you got a Delrin
bushing. Yeah.
And they operate their function so much smoother, so much nicer. So we actually sell his trunnions for all makes of trucks, and then we made these ones for 47 to 53 that nobody was offering.
I think his name's Terry, if I remember right. When I met him, I'm almost mad that I can't remember. Tracy. TD Drunions. Pretty awesome stuff. So you're going to have a lot of stuff. Do guys save on shipping at the show? How do you guys do that? Do you run show specials?
That's right. We typically
can I ship this back for a refund, and then I'll get a show special at the get down. These things are expensive.
So how much shipping is? You probably end up in the hole.
For the United States, just so you guys understand, these are about $600, right? 5 something. Yeah, about $600 for the. But it's so cool. So I love it. But yeah, when I put the credit card in, I was like, holy shit. But how about hood braces? You guys are famous for that too. You gonna bring some of those down?
Yeah, we bring a ton of those. Those are a nice, easy carry item that we bring. And yes, we will have show specials on and no shipping. And help give us hopefully some gas money to get back to Canada.
Yeah. So pay attention to their shadow band social media. LS Fab. It's actually fabrication.
LS fabrication, I think.
Okay, yeah. Yours is a little bit different than that, but okay. So LS Fab, LS fabrication. Just pay attention to their social media. What show specials are coming? Write down your list. They'll be there. Kris, and Dawson Creek. And I highly recommend you go by and see not only the guys, because they're truck guys building rad stuff. And if you really want to do me a favor, do me a personal favor. There's two Chris's. One's a little shorter, and he's got a little bit more facial hair and a pretty good, like, dark flow head of mop. He's the one that's building a lot of these parts. His absolute favorite thing in the world is to talk to other truck people. He loves to talk and be talked to. He's not an introvert. He's an absolute extrovert and would love to spend 2 days of Dino's at just talking to people. Poor Kris. I'm setting him up for failure here. I'm setting him up. Kris does not. He's an introvert. He's a guy who wants to be in the shop. He wants to be painting. He wants to be building. He wants the headphones on, and he wants to be working. And that's why we have the Houser. That's why we have Kris Houser here joining us today. So, all right, take us out. What's any last little things to get you pumped up, ready to rock? SEMA, Election Day, Shadow Band.
One other thing we're making just for Dino.
There's more. There's more. Go. I did see the shirt. It was kind of
that's what I wanted to talk about. So, we had, ever since that first year we came down, we got the okay from Dino to throw a little, again, because we're just thrilled, and we made a little LS Fabrication Dino's Get Down shirt. And every year we've kind of tried to make a little spin-off, different rendition, but same sort of style. So we did this one this year. I don't know if you saw it there, Ronnie, but we couldn't
I did.
decide. Did you see the two? We had the all black and gray one.
Well, it looked like you kind of morph a couple of them together. Yeah.
So we took the paint splat one with the Arizona colors and we put it on the background with the gray and black. And then we hid a cool little cat in there on top of the star. I don't know if you noticed that.
I don't think I did. My favorite one, the first year you guys barely made it, I got the Arizona flag one. But then the one that I really liked was more of the 90s rendition with the turquoise and the the hot pink and purple. Yeah. So you guys have done a little blend there. You're keeping it funky, you're keeping it fresh. You ought to just do maybe some red and white. Get a little maple leaf drip in there. You know what I mean?
Well, we always figured the guys that come into Arizona, a lot do come out of state. They like to take, some sort of a memorabilia back. So we like, and we're excited to be in Arizona and come down. So
maybe you can get a little cactus in there. I think we're working on the reunion shirt. We always try to get some cactus in the reunion shirt.
Oh, that's a show we got to come down to while we're talking.
Oh, you guys can't handle that. There's way too much fun for a bunch of Canadian guys.
Yeah, right. Every time I look at all the pictures of the dress ups, I'm like, man, we belong there. Did I show you my new windbreaker?
No, let's check it out.
Be right back.
Windbreakers are back. So think about this. How funny is it? He's run out of the room real quick, but think about the old starter jackets. That's literally our colors. Oh my God, you nailed it. So he's got a nice teal, purple, hot pink windbreaker that he's bringing down to the Get Down. Nothing says I like dudes like a guy that wears a windbreaker like that. Does it say members only anywhere on it?
We can make it say that, yeah.
Nice.
Maybe I'll have to go through. Maybe we might have one for Ronnie in there.
I know. I need to order one of those. That's got reunion written all over it. We try to be funky fresh and have a good time with that. And we take everything so serious, and it's so fun to just take it back to the old parking lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We all remember that.
That's what we try to do. Okay, guys, check them out. LS Fab. We've got Kris, and we've got Dawson's Creek coming down. I hope, text me. Let me know if we're going to see you on the 5th. No matter what, 50% of the country is going to be pissed off. I don't know how the elections work in Canada, but every time, I talk to Stickle, nobody seems to like the prime minister. So no. it's got to be the same, here. If Trump gets elected, everybody's going to be pissed. If Kamala gets elected, everybody's going to be pissed. I try to remember and tell people, we've had a lot of elections. You might have won, you might have lost. Your life didn't change as much as you probably thought it was going to change. It's just wear you out. It's just like, we're just so focused on all the negative energy of the elections. It's horrible. Really brings the country down. So safe travels. Love the products. Love the ingenuity. Love the hustle. And, if there's anything we can do, we're going to get this out for the audience. Sorry about the coughs. I don't even know if I'll clean that many of them up. It is what it is. LS Fab. Check them out, guys. Thanks, Kris.
Yeah. Sick products and sick Ronnie.
Sick products and sick host.
Yeah, buddy.
And sick dudes building sick stuff. So SIC, and then I'm SICK. So, all right, bro. I appreciate it.
Okay, man. I can't wait to see you when we're down there. Thanks again for doing this.
Late. All right, what do you think? What do you think, LS Fab? Kris, thanks for sitting down with us, sharing your story, your journey. Continue to innovate and make just badass, rad-ass products for us, our builds, our trucks, our passion. We do appreciate it. For you guys, thanks again for tuning in. Don't forget to stop by the booth. Dino's 14th annual Get Down will be there. We've got new shirts, hats, tons and tons of stickers like always. And again, the raffle, you could be the next guest or coming up future guest of C10 Talk. Pretty awesome stuff. Thanks again for your support. And we'll be back with right on top of this one, 302 Goonie Wheel. Late.